This is Brandon with Fleet Feet, and today I've got another Brooks shoe for you, and that is the Brooks Ghost Max 2. Now, this is the second model of the Brooks Ghost Max, which is a shoe that is just elevated and inspired off of the Brooks Ghost, which you can see right here. It's basically a more elevated and max cushion version of the Brooks Ghost. Now, it seems like the Max series for Brooks has been a bit of a hit. Now with the new Hyperion Max 2, the Brooks Ghost Max, and some of the other Max shoes that are coming out, it seems like this is just sort of an effort for Brooks to continue to innovate and to just drive the shoe world forward. There will be a new model of the Max line coming out very shortly, but we have to keep it under wraps for right now, so we can't talk about it just yet. But if you can guess what that might be, leave it in the comments below. But for now, we can't talk about it, but we will have a review out of it when it comes out. But the original Brooks Ghost Max was a huge winner in the running industry and for our team as well. So I guess the question is, does the second model live up to those standards? Well, let's hear from the rest of the Fleet Feet review team and dive in. Before we can dive in, please make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated for when all of our new videos come out. It really helps. Now let's move on to the upper. The upper is very similar to that of the Brooks Ghost 16. It is a generally warmer fitting upper. It's going to be thicker, it's going to be more cushioned, it's going to be well padded, and it's just going to be that emphasis on comfort. Overall, I found that it just fit true to size, and so did a lot of our review team. For Heather, this shoe just fit like a dream, and for her high volume foot, that is key. Overall, she just found that it felt fantastic. And for Caroline, who has a low volume foot, she found that that fit true to size and fit really well for her. Though Caroline did find that there was quite a bit of volume in the toe box, and Max felt that way too. It seemed like high or low volume foot, it just seems like this shoe worked well for a lot of our team. And just speaking of just the colorway and the overall trends of the upper, Brooks is just knocking it out of the park lately. I love a clean all white shoe and this nice off-white for the women's model. I'm really excited and just happy to see that Brooks is following a lot of the lifestyle inspired trends that we're seeing and bringing them into the run space and making a really nice looking shoe. Not to be funny, but I'm really happy that I'm not receiving another blue shoe from Brooks. Just to wrap up the upper real quick, whether you have a high volume foot or a low volume foot, whether you're curious about whether the shoe is gonna fit right for you, you can go into your local Fleet Feet store, get your foot scanned, go through the Fit ID process and the outfitting experience, and just figure out exactly what shoe is gonna work best for you, whether it's this one or another one that we offer. Now let's move down to the midsole. The midsole of this shoe, similar to that of the Brooks Ghost, is made up of DNA Loft V3, which is a nitrogen infused foam. So basically it starts off as a small little puck. They put nitrogen infusion in this and then they tailor it to this midsole foam that you see here. Something that is unique and really interesting about this shoe is that it has what Brooks calls a glide roll rocker system in it. So it has that nice rolling system as you're going through your stride. In a max cushion shoe like this for long run days, it can make all of the difference. This is something that I really loved, especially running at longer distances. And for Max, these were perfect for those easy run days. And he just loved the midsole foam. He just found that it was not only soft, but it was also firm. It had that nice balance, something that he was just kind of searching for a really long time, and he found it in the Brooks Ghost Max 2. And he felt pretty well protected in this shoe with the higher stack, the higher ground feel. He found that the repeated strikes and the longer distance in this shoe and the more protection on foot just allowed him to run in this shoe and enjoy it longer. This is a pretty high stack shoe. The stack of this shoe comes in at 39 millimeters in the heel and 33 in the toe. So that is just shy of 40 millimeters and comes through with a 6 millimeter drop. And something that Max really loved about this shoe, because he's always worried about stability and rolling his ankles, is that the midsole foam here, the sidewalls just roll up and cradle his foot in really well, which really helped with that enhanced stability. And speaking of further stability, the outsole of this shoe definitely complements it with a very wide base and nice rubber coverage. The wide base just created a more stable ride, and we had no issues with the rubber coverage on foot and just found that it was very durable. Now let's move on to the ride and performance. And one of our reviewers, Caroline, found that this shoe was soft, but not too soft to the point where she had to dig her own foot out of the shoe. And she found that it was pretty flexible too, especially on turnover. And you can tell here it is a pretty flexible option. And for Caroline, she notices that sometimes higher stack shoes can be a little bit firmer, not as soft or as well cushioned, but she definitely found that the Brooks Ghost Max 2 checked all of her boxes for a more soft feel. And I agree with Caroline. I'm really loving a lot of the new innovations and foams that Brooks has been coming out with lately. I think they're moving in a direction that we haven't really seen in a lot of recent years. And the Brooks Ghost Max 2 is well cushioned and very soft, but still inherently stable, and it kind of feels similar to that of the Asics Nimbus 26. And some of you might already know this, but that is a shoe that I love. The weight of this shoe for the women's model comes in at 9.5 ounces or 269 grams. And the men's model at 10.8 ounces or 306 grams. It does weigh a little bit more than the previous model. But why? Well, we did send a message to Brooks and here's what they had to say. The upper now has a double layer upper here, which is going to add a little bit more weight to the shoe, and the wider shaping around the midsole and outsole to create more stability is just going to make the shoe a little bit heavier. And this shoe comes in at $150, which is in a similar price range to that of the Asics Gel Nimbus 26 at $160, the Hoka Bondi 8 at $160, and the New Balance 1080 V13 at $165. But I do think that the $150 versus the $140 for the Brooks Ghost is definitely worth it. As I mentioned earlier, it is a higher stack shoe. It's gonna offer more cushioning and more protection than that of the Brooks Ghost. But if you wanna try this shoe on for yourself, you can go into your local Fleet Feet store and check it out there or online at fleetfeet.com. And what videos do you wanna see next? Whether it's a comparison video or another full review, drop it in the comments below. And if you wanna learn more about the Brooks Ghost Max 2 or other Brooks shoes in general, you can go onto the blog at fleetfeet.com and hear what all of our reviewers had to say. And make sure to follow us on all of our social media channels, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, Strava, or wherever else we might be.